So I've just been moving the onions to the polytunnel today, and I thought we'd just check in on them, look at the progress, give them a bit of a critique. And these are all the multi-sown onions that I've done, and I think I'm pretty much finished with onions now. So there's two batches, one was sown in January, one was sown in early February. As I said, they're not looking too bad. There's some old seeds that didn't germinate so well and a few other issues, but generally speaking I'm happy with them. So in terms of onions, as I said, I'm finished. I have got some red onion sets that I'll be planting as well. And I'll actually be running a side-by-side comparison between the sets planted high density and the onions planted high density, and also sets planted at a lower density, just to see the range, different sizes and yields and things that we get. In terms of leeks, I've only sown my summer leeks. So I've got one more batch of summer leeks at home that haven't germinated yet, and I'll start sowing my main crop leeks in March. So let's have a look. So all these leeks and onions were in various different places in the house, and that kind of reflects the fact that some are a bit leggy, some of them are looking really good. Basically the ones that grew with lots of light and not much heat are the best. Anyway, so we don't grow a huge number of white onions, but those are the ones we've got. So I think there's 120 there. And we've got 2 trays of Red Baron, so these are our favoured onion, and these are multi-sown, about 3 to a cell, so there's 240 of those there. And these are the Paris Silver Skin. They're a pickling onion, but you can use them for all sorts of other purposes as well. And so I think there's another 4 to a cell there, I think, so that's 160 of those. And then we've got these Semaine, and they are they're an onion and they grow a bulb, but they're for use in salads. So I don't really call them a salad onion because that's what I call my white Lisbon, but anyway, they are a nice sweet late summer onion. And then we've got 2 trays of white Lisbon, so they're going to get planted out with the lettuces in March. And then we've got the Zebrun shallot onions, stroke onions. They are an onion, but they look like taste like a shallot. And basically that tray was old seed, didn't germinate very well. This tray was new seed, grown in kind of optimum conditions, and that looks really nice. That's basically the size that I like to bring them to the allotment. But because of this really cold weather, I left them at home for an extra 2 weeks, and you know that's the kind of result. So yeah, not ideal. That's another tray of the old seed. So basically I'm looking for 2 trays of Zebrun to plant. I've got 3 to go at, and those are the summer leeks. As I say, I've got 1 more tray of those, so I think we've got 3 or 4 per module there. So that's 18 times 4. I don't know, just a bit less than 80. Right, so let's take a deep dive into this tray. So I planted 5 seeds per module there, looking to get 4. I got quite a few with 5 in them, so I've pulled all those out. So most of those should only have 4 seedlings in them now. And they are going to get snipped off. So in about 2 weeks' time, I'm going to get the scissors and I'm going to cut them back to about this sort of height. And I'm going to do that with everything apart from the spring onions, just because I don't know, you just seem to get stockier, nicer, little healthier seedlings when you do that. And these aren't going to be planted out until April. So, well, most of them aren't. I am going to do a bit of an experiment trying to sow some in one of the cold frames a little bit earlier. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, most of them aren't going to get planted out until April. So you want to keep them, you know, reasonably stocky little seedlings with really good root on them, and not too much sort of leggy top growth. And when I give them that trim, as I said, in about 2 weeks' time, then I'll give them a dilute feed, fertilizer feed. So I think that's pretty much everything I can say about these. As I mentioned, you know, so this is really more what I'm looking for. I'm really not very happy with that tray, but I think it'll pull through. I don't actually have a lot of space to plant onions, so I have to put them in quite high density. Basically on the allotment we've got one bed on Debbie's plot, small bed, maybe 1 metre squared. We've got one big bed on my plot, and I'll show you that. And then I've got one coal frame, double coal frame, and that's where I'm going to do the early planting experiment. And that's currently got carrots in it, so I can only do that once I've finished the carrots. And then we kind of do, in the front garden at home, we just plant them all the way around the border. So maybe a strip of 3 onions, which takes about that much space, all the way around, and it just looks really nice. And obviously it's quite a long border as well, so we get a lot of onions in there. So when it comes to my onions that I'm growing from sets, I'm going to do half of a coal frame with onions from sets at the same density, so somewhere around 150 onions per square metre sets, as I am doing with seeds. Same type of onion, Red Baron, or at least the same red onion. I'm not sure whether it'll be exactly the same variety, it depends on the sets I can get. And so we'll see how that goes. And I think that's pretty much it. So I've got quite a few overwintered onions as well, and they seem to have survived this really cold snap, which is more than I can say for the field beans, which basically look dead. They probably will grow back from the roots, but we'll have to see. So these are all overwintered onions, and these all need to be harvested by June, because that's when I put the squash in this bed. But I'm happy with that, because, you know, I like nice small fresh onions, and these don't keep very well, so we'll basically just harvest them as we need them from June through to July. We've got another little bed there, and that's going to be followed by winter cabbages. I've got this little bed in the polytunnel, and I'm hoping that these will come a little bit earlier, and by the look of them they are doing really well. They're quite a bit thicker than the ones outside. I mean, they're all a bit floppy and everything, but I'm not worried about that. And of course I've got absolutely masses of spring onions in here, and outside in the coal frames as well. So I'm going to have a really good crop of spring onions. So I don't think we're going to go short of onions. So I hope you like this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen, Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.